Today's discussion, we're going to get to it now. I mentioned in the title, it's more or less an advice for a son who trades. And it's easy for all of you to take this also as a means of building a foundation. The assumption is that the listener has gone the route of a funded account trader. Now, I'm going to say some things in here that's going to probably piss off a lot of the funded account companies. It's not my intention to do that, because if it was my intention, I would just tell my son, don't do it. And I would just throw $50,000 into an account and say, here, let's just do that. But he wants to do this on his own. And I have to appreciate and respect that, as any father would. I don't think it's the right way for him personally, and he's found that out. Okay, so just know that if you're going to be a funded account company and you're listening into this, just know that I don't have any particular beef with any single one of you, but I know that there are a great deal of hurdles that the average person goes through. And while it may be said that funded account companies do this and do that for the client, there are some things that are glaring, obvious mathematical hurdles that most people don't look at it. And I'm going to kind of like talk about that today. So it kind of makes it even harder than trading really is. And I'll touch on that. And my son now knows what that feels like, which is what I was trying to spare him of. And once you have those cuts, once you have those deep cuts mentally about losing, about measuring up and falling short of goals, which is fine. That part's fine. Falling short of a goal, as long as you're moving in the direction of your goals, and my belief is that that's fine. Because nobody's going to get it 100% right from the first step into any journey. It just doesn't work that way. And this is absolutely not going to be the case for any of you, because it's very challenging. So obviously, I mentioned over the last couple months that my son Cameron, who just recently turned 18 in February, he's took it upon himself to want to come out here and try to prove to the world his dad is ICT and he can teach people how to do this and yada yada, and he's going to go out here and make money and to go after the trolls. That was his mentality. That was his whole reason for doing it. And while that may be admirable to some of you, I thought it was rather stupid. And I told him this before. I said, you're going into this for all the wrong reasons. You're going in to do something other than be good at it for the sake of being good at it, and identifying the fact that it's going to take you time. It's going to take you time to get over all the learning hurdles, all the things that you're going to discover about yourself, the things that you thought you were going to be strong at. They're going to be the weaknesses in your trading. And it sounds like it can't be possible, but it is. You're confident in your ability to do things that are outside of trading. So therefore, a male mindset, and he's the one out of all my kids that are most likely to be Mr. Testosterone. Okay, he's the largest of all of them. He's bigger than I am. He's taller than I am. He's stronger than I am. And he feels that his athleticism and his ability to be a gamer online, he does a lot of that stuff, he's really good at that. And he's never had any kind of hardships in his academics. We homeschool him. And he felt that he was just going to walk out there and just conquer everything and go on YouTube and literally go in the comment section of the few yahoos out there that like to make a career out of trolling me and try to make ad revenue off of being negative against me, which is fine. And that's fine. If they have to do that to make their children eat and have Christmas, that's wonderful. I'm not worried about it. It's not changing anything with me. But I told him, I said, that's the worst thing to do. And that's many times what I say to you as my students. Don't go into this trying to go onto social media and show your trading prowess as a report card. That's why I believe if you're going to have a MyFX book, if you're a Forex trader, that should be kept private. It absolutely should be kept private. Because as soon as you feel like you got to unzip your pants and show the world where you're measuring right now, you've lost the plot. You've literally lost the plot, because you now have put a mile marker out there and saying, okay, I felt so insignificant at that very moment that I had to go out and do those types of things to measure up. to let people see me and recognize me. But what you have just done is you've established a baseline now. Now you have to climb up above that. What if you don't have the skill set to do it yet? And most of you listening don't have that skill set. You're just now learning. You're learning how to find setups. You're trying to read price action. You're not even at a stage where you should be going out there trying to get a combine passed with a funded account, whether it be Forex or futures. You're not prepared. My son was not prepared, period. But left to his own devices, left to his own unctions and need to be significant, to do something emotionally, which would have been toxic even more if he would have been successful, because then he would have been he has the ability to become the biggest prick in trading. You think I'm arrogant? This little bitch, okay, would literally be a menace because he's got that arrogance flare in him, and that's what he's suffering from that right now, because he wanted it to be easy for him. It will be easy for him, but he has to do it Dad's way. That's just the way it's going to have to be. And the things that I was trying to spare him, and what I try to spare all of you who listen to me, I try to tell you how to go into this with the right mindset, because you can make as much money as you want, but you have to be willing to lose as much as you can afford. Think about that. That's a sermon in and of itself. I could teach on that whole premise right there for the rest of this year and not scratch the surface of the importance of knowing what I just said there. But all of you come into this and you want to do something Olympic. Go out there with the least amount of experience, the least of know-how, no responsibility whatsoever, because it's going to be the funded account's fault that you lost. It's going to be Trader Bait's data thing because you lost. Let me tell you something. Cameron got funded, yes, but you know what? He blew one of those accounts. He had 4 of them going because they were like $49 or $50. I think it's $50. Don't quote me. I might be saying that part wrong, but he had 4 of them going. And his mentality was, I'm going to get one of them. He got one of them, but one of them he lost. And he bitched about how he didn't get the fill he should have gotten, but he let it ride. And Top Step, if you're listening, do not give him a credit. I'm not asking for fucking charity for my son. Don't do it. He needs to understand that that was the wrong way to do it anyway. But there's always going to be some reason for the inexperienced, lack of self-control, no discipline mindset to blame everything and everyone but them, because none of these funded account companies make you push these buttons. None of them do. Not one of them. You do it. You come to the conclusion, whether you learn something from me, whether you learn something from somebody else, or you've invented something and pulled shit out of your ass. It doesn't matter. You're doing these things because you feel the initiative to go out there. Hey, I'm going to do it. This is my way, and I'm going to do it. And if I fail, I'm okay with it. But when you realize that you now aren't successful and you blow out that combine in short order, now you're wrestling with something that you weren't prepared for. That's the reason why I teach the way I do. If I was honest, I believe that less than 20% of my listening audience is going to be successful. Less than 20%. Not because of the ability that my concepts can find setups consistently. It's the fact that human nature is what it is. Like, you don't have any sense of accountability whatsoever, except for your own. And if you don't develop that initially in the beginning, well, who's going to hold you accountable? No one. And my son had money to pay for these things. So therefore, he's accountable to no one. Dad's not paying for it, so I don't owe him an explanation. But I'm going to do it, and I'm going to prove him just like he thought he's going to do, like his son, his brother Cody, my oldest son. I told him, don't touch crypto. It's toxic. It's poison. I'm telling you, don't do it. You're going to lose. You're going to lose. You're going to get your shit tied up in some kind of bogus broker account. And you ain't going to get your money. Well, guess what? Just under $30,000, he can't get it. Well, there you go. Didn't learn. This one here, the most arrogant of all my boys, really the only arrogant one. Well, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to conquer futures. And I'm going to do it without your money. You're not going to help me because everybody's going to say that you did it for me. Well, hey, I can appreciate that. I was like, man, if you listen to me, son, you'll be able to do this in shit, easy. It'll be easy. It'll be a cakewalk if you just listen. But it's not going to be as fast as you want it to be. No, I ain't got time for that. I got trolls to slap. So what did he do? He rushed. He rushed to get in there for an emotional stimuli that doesn't make any fucking money. Here's my MyFX book. I'm down 5%. I've not been able to come out of that drawdown for 9 months. But here you go. I'm teaching. You want to learn from me? Devastating. That's devastating to a guru mentor. And it's devastating to you as someone that's trying to learn how to trade. Should you have those KPI stats, those measurements, those tools to measure your ability to manage risk? How do you come back from drawdown? What's your accuracy? What's your R multiples? All those things. Should you have those? Yes, but they should be personal. Everything in trading should be personal. Absolutely must be personal. Does the idea of you becoming an entrepreneur, does that excite you? Does that get you thinking, like, yeah, I would like to do that? Most of my audience probably would think that's a great way of viewing life and say, I'm going to strive to have my own business and I'm going to treat trading as my own business. That's wonderful. And I wish you nothing but success. And I'm trying every time when you have time to listen to me,